Have you ever really stopped to think about what happens after you take that last bite of a meal? I mean, it's not just about feeling full, right? It's actually the very beginning of this incredible, super complex journey happening inside your own body. So let's follow that meal and uncover the amazing biological factory that powers our lives.
So picture this. The plate's empty, you're feeling good. But for your body, well, the real work is just getting started. It's about to kick off this whole sophisticated process to turn that food into energy, into building blocks, basically into everything you need to exist.
But before we even start that journey, we've got to talk about the fuel itself. And the ideal fuel is what we call a balanced diet. Now, this isn't about some single superfood. No, it's all about getting the right mix of all these essential parts. Think of it like giving your body the perfect toolkit to work with. So why do we even need this fuel in the first place? It really boils down to some very fundamental needs that keep us going every single second of every single day. You know, it's so much more than just stopping your stomach from rumbling. Food gives us the raw energy for every single thing we do, from running a marathon to just thinking a thought. It fuels our growth, especially when we're young. And it acts like this constant repair crew, rebuilding tissues and patching us up using the raw materials from our last meal. What's really fascinating is that our energy needs aren't static. They're incredibly dynamic. Just look at this chart. Check out the difference between an 18-year-old and a 65-year-old, and then see how the demand just skyrockets when you go from being inactive to very active? Your body is constantly adjusting its fuel gauge based on what you're asking it to do. Okay, so we know why we need food. Now let's break down what's actually in that food. Let's take a look at the fundamental building blocks that make up pretty much everything we eat. Take a look at this. It's so clear that different foods offer us very different things. Notice how the fish is just jam-packed with protein, while the potato and bread are loaded with carbohydrates. This really shows you why a varied diet is so crucial if you want to get that perfect mix of nutrients. Let's just pull two of those out to see this a bit more clearly. White bread, for example, is a fantastic source of carbohydrates, which our body absolutely loves for quick energy. Fish, on the other hand, is a total protein powerhouse, which is essential for building and repairing. So you got two very different foods doing two very different but equally important jobs. So here's the bottom line. Each of these big macronutrients has a very specific job. Carbohydrates? They're your go-to for immediate energy. Proteins are the literal building blocks, like the bricks for a house. And lipids, fats, are for long-term energy storage and are absolutely vital for building every single cell in your body. And get this. Look at the huge difference in energy content. You can see right here that fats provide more than double the energy per gram compared to carbs or proteins. And that's exactly why there's such an efficient way for our bodies to store energy for later. All right, we've got our fuel. Now, how do we get all the good stuff out of it? Well, it's time to enter the disassembly line, the human digestive system. And let me tell you, it is a marvel of biological engineering.
And here's our map for the journey. It's called the alimentary canal. And it's basically one long, continuous tube that runs from your mouth all the way through your body. Along this route, food is going to be systematically broken down, sorted, and absorbed.
The very first stop is the mouth. And that chewing you're doing, it's not just random. Your teeth are specialized tools. You've got the sharpened incisors up front for cutting, the pointy canines for tearing, and those big flat molars in the back for grinding. This is step one, physical digestion.
But wait, that's not all that's happening in there. As you chew, your saliva is already getting to work. It's got this enzyme called amylase, and it immediately starts the chemical breakdown of starches. So digestion is both mechanical and chemical, right from the very first bite. So once you swallow, how does that food get to your stomach? It's not just gravity. Nope. It's this powerful rhythmic process called peristalsis. These waves of muscle contractions literally squeeze the food down the esophagus, making sure it gets to the next station even if you were eating upside down.
Now we're arriving at the main processing centers. This is where that meal gets taken apart into molecules that are finally small enough for your body to actually use. The real magic is about to happen.
Welcome to the stomach. It is an incredibly acidic place, and that acid does two critical things. One, it kills most of the harmful bacteria you might have swallowed, and two, it creates the perfect environment for protease enzymes to start snipping apart proteins. The stomach churns everything together into this liquid called chyme.
And throughout this entire journey, the real heroes, the real MVPs, are enzymes. The best way to think of them is as tiny molecular scissors. Each type has a specific shape that lets it lock on to a big food molecule and just snip it into smaller, more manageable pieces that our bodies can actually absorb.
And here's a perfect picture of that process in action. You can see that big, complex starch molecule on the left. The amylase enzyme, our molecular scissors, comes along and just snips it into these smaller, simpler maltosugars. And this same kind of thing happens for carbs, proteins, and fats, just with different specialized enzymes for each job. Now, while digestion has been happening all along, the small intestine, that's where the main event truly takes place. This is where the final breakdown of every nutrient happens and, most importantly, where they get absorbed into the body.
So how does the small intestine absorb so much stuff? Well, the secret is its incredible surface area. The inside isn't smooth at all. It's covered in millions of these tiny finger-like projections called villi. Look at the diagram on the left, and now look at the actual micrograph on the right. Those are real. All these folds create a massive surface area, about the size of a tennis court, all to maximize nutrient absorption. It is absolutely incredible.
And this, right here, is the payoff for the entire journey. Those tiny, digested nutrient molecules pass through the walls of the villi and go straight into your bloodstream. From there, your circulatory system acts like a super efficient delivery service, transporting these essential molecules to every single cell in your body so they have the energy and materials they need. So, there you have it. From a simple meal to fuel for trillions of cells, this unbelievably complex, elegant, and non-stop process is happening inside you right now. It really makes you think, doesn't it? Knowing the incredible journey that food takes, are you giving your body the best possible fuel for success?